But this is a 4-foot water snake at least, and that's a 3-footer. And with Midland water snakes, it's very uncommon that we even see one that big. I mean, look at the head. Whoa, look at the head on this thing. It is a beautiful mid-February morning here in the Georgia Piedmont. This is the week of Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day was a couple days back, and the weather's been pretty uncooperative up until about this point. There's some nice rocks. And like I said, hasn't been too much to do because it's been cold. I've been kind of laying low, waiting for a warmer day, and today that day finally came. So the overnight last night was pretty warm. It was in the 40s. Birds are calling this morning, and it just feels like spring. So hopefully the snakes will agree with that. We're going to get to walking, and I will update you guys with our first find. So the habitat we're going to be in today is mostly upland stuff, but hopefully we will still be able to scrounge up a couple snakes. Nice log. I have actually done fairly well at this particular spot before, so hopefully snakes will be active today. Well, we might not be seeing much, but the habitat's very, very scenic and looks like a fantastic place for some of Georgia's rarer species like pines, stuff like that. Fantastic habitat though. Still zero snakes. It feels pretty good out here, but we're once again having that issue with the wind, where the wind is just keeping it a little cooler and drier than I feel like we need it to be right now. So it might end up being kind of a bust today, but we've still got plenty of time, so I'm going to keep at it, and hopefully we can turn things around. Alright guys, here's our first herp of the day, and strangely enough, I think this is the first time we've seen this species this year, despite how common they can be around here. This is the Webster salamander. These guys are a redback-like salamander. They're closely related, but they are a full species, Plethodon websteri, and they're largely endemic to the Piedmont of the southeast. You get a couple of populations in the coastal plain, but largely these guys are a Piedmont endemic. But really cool salamander. Sun's coming out, so I'm going to put him back under his rock, and we're going to keep at it. Here's another Webster salamander, this time a big female with only a tiny little patch of color on her back. But I'm just going to let her go back in the leaf litter. 2 of those so far today. Those have been, oh, I saw on a knoll, and other than that, that's been it. Well, I just lost the black racer, so snakes are out. But here is a Webster salamander, yet another one. Anyways, I stopped to flip a rock, and I heard something, and I glanced over just in time to see a racer going into a stump hole right next to me. So, had I been paying more attention, I probably could have caught it. Well, under a rather unexpected rock, we have a nice little ringneck. First snake of the day that isn't going to get away, and a little cicada. Well, they're going to be ever present over the next couple of months. At this point, it's still early enough in the year, I'm just happy I'm seeing snakes. So, what are you opening your mouth for, dude? Alright, we're going to put this guy back. Hopefully that's a good omen. 2 snakes in the last 20 minutes or so. And I hadn't seen anything before this. Maybe that means we're getting into some better habitat here. And it's definitely starting to warm up. I'm sweating. Here's a Websteri double flip. 2 big adults. These are really good looking salamanders sometimes, and this pair is no exception. There's a couple of these guys coming out today. I think this is the 3rd one I've seen, so I figured I'd show one. But nice eastern fence lizard. Certainly going to become very common as it starts to warm up over the next few weeks. But generally these guys are a good indicator that spring is here and snakes are going to start coming out, so always nice to see. Well, we have been at this for a few hours now, and I don't know if you can tell, but we have another windy day. And this was not even, there wasn't even really forecasted to be a breeze today, and the wind is just straight up cold. I really don't know what's going on this year with all the wind. And normally we get a little bit of wind, but it's normally the trees break the wind up and there's just not much of an issue with it. Another issue we're dealing with today is feral hogs. There has been a very discouraging amount of stuff like this where the feral hogs have just completely uprooted and destroyed the habitat. And that makes it very hard to find snakes if there are any left. Even if we hit this on the best of weather days, that hog damage would still be causing quite a bit of distress on the snake population, I think. They're going to be out of place. They're not going to be where they're supposed to be. And this time of year, that can be a death sentence because we get cold overnight still. So if a hog dug a snake up and ate it, which is very possible, that sucks. If a hog dug a snake up and didn't eat it, that sucks almost just as bad because now his hibernacula is just a hole in the ground. You can see there's all these gravelly rocks, which means there was probably plenty of space right there for a pretty big snake to get underground. At least there's still this stump hole right here. A couple pieces of bark, which you can tell there's green grass under there. That hasn't been there very long. All right, everyone, we are back at it. It's the next day. Unfortunately, it's still super windy, but today we have a lot more warmth and a lot more humidity going for us. So I'm hopeful that that will count for something and we'll be able to turn something up today. I'm gonna flip this tire to kick off the outing if I can. Well, the tire wouldn't flip, but here is a nice slimy salamander under a nearby rock. And check out these ants. What on earth? Oh, and there's a giant spider right there too. What's up? What a flip. Anyways, it is super humid today compared to how it has been, and we're actually supposed to get a lot of rain tonight, so we might end up doing a little bit of salamandering here at the end of the episode. But yeah, mostly going to be walking around in habitat today and flipping tins, so I'm going to get to it, and I will update you guys when things happen. All right, first real tin of the day. Nobody. A snake, and it's a big brown water snake. Very nice. I'm gonna get a picture real quick and then we'll grab him. Man is very grumpy all of a sudden. This is actually the first time I've seen this species this close to home. If I can get him out. So, no bite please. So I was photographing that first one and I heard something move and I looked over. There's an even bigger one. Look at the size of this thing. That is a huge Neurodia. That is awesome. Gotta say, I'm kind of surprised these guys were out. The wind definitely is a warm wind today as opposed to the last couple of times we've gotten out where it's just been brisk. I mean, it's hot sitting right... Whoa! All around, just a great way to start out the day if we don't see anything else. But I'm optimistic that since these guys were out, we're in for a decent day. So I'm gonna photograph them and let them go. So I think I mentioned last episode, how these can be pretty big Neurodia. And you can see what I mean. And this is a 4.5 foot, maybe not 4.5, but this is a 4 foot water snake at least. And that's a 3 footer. And with Midland water snakes, it's very uncommon that we even see one that big. I mean, look at the head. Whoa, look at the head on this thing. Hello. They're not very accurate with their strikes, but I don't know if you guys can hear that wind, but it's kind of ridiculous. All right, big girl. You're free to go. She sat pretty nicely. Only tried to bite me 300 times, never successfully did. Come here. Come here, come here. I just want to walk you back over to where we found you, which was right here, I believe. So, there you are. Let's see what else we can find over here. There's plenty more of this habitat to walk. Finally, a break in the wind. I've been standing here waiting, but that is the biggest water snake, and the wind's back. That right there is the biggest water snake I think I've ever seen. I could just be exaggerating because I haven't walked up to it yet, but I'm gonna get a photo and then we're gonna go catch that thing and see how big it is. All right, I'm gonna try to shield the wind. Oh my goodness. What's up? Look at that. It's ridiculous. I mean, easy. No bites. Just look at how big it is compared to my hand. Look at the size of its head. Whoa! Hello. Alright. This thing pooped on its own head in the process of Okay, trying to bite me. Alright, we'll let you go. Go wipe that poop off your head. What I'm really hoping is to see a king snake hanging out, but given how windy it is and how picky king snakes can be, I think we'll have better odds at flipping one of those. But we're gonna go hit our 10 here in a little bit after I finish working this rocky stuff and see if we can turn up a king. All right, next stack of the day. This one has been weathering pretty nicely. As you can see, it's got a ton of pine needles and stuff on top of it, maybe too many. Already in the first layer. Dang, there's a nice rodent nest. It's a good sign. All right, this is our last stop for the day, but hopefully it'll be the best. A lot of ants. Oh, red belly. Got him. I think that might be our first snake flip clip of the year. What the hell? Something big just moved behind me. That was weird. Anyways, this is actually the same piece of tin we flipped a brown snake under in December. Also, surprisingly, I think this is our first adult red belly of the year. Oh, he's lip curling. Look at that. That's a defensive behavior these guys do that we don't get to see terribly often, where they'll just barely curl up their lip and expose their tiny little teeth. You can see it. It's pretty gnarly, actually. Look at that. Well, that is our second species of snake for the day. I think that's only the second snake I've flipped under this little piece, which both of them have been this winter. So it's in a good spot for Steraria in the winter, I suppose. Mouse. All right, guys, I'm back at the house. I flipped a little bit here and I didn't see anything else. So at least in the flipping department, we only saw one red-bellied snake under cover, but those 3 brown water snakes were definitely cool, especially since they were back to back to back in close proximity. It felt like we were having a little bit more successful of a day than we did just because we found so many snakes right off the bat. Yeah, I'm probably going to wrap this one up here. I am going to be getting out for amphibians tonight, but I'm going to try to make that its own separate video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.